to go back and have a look. Yeah? So, second thing, that we're really structured what we do. We've got really clear timelines around what we're going to do. It's very, very interactive. Ask questions. You saw what it was like in the event. Ask me questions in the chat. Graham will raise them if I miss them. Mic off, video on. I'm going to be a bit contrarian here. Like, keep your mic off, especially if there's a noise in the background, but don't hesitate. Just ask a question. Try not to take too long, and but you can ask a question. If you feel you need a break, switch your video off as long as you're concentrating, okay? I don't mind that, yeah? But one thing I would say is if you don't want me to ask you questions, put a coffee cup inside your blank screen, right? So let me know that I don't want to disturb you. We know that if you do other things when you're doing this, you'll miss a bit and then you'll get stuck, right? But I will ask you questions and I will sort of try and bring people out. But I know myself, sometimes I need a little bit of a rest. I need 15 minutes, just not with the video on. And actually, that's okay. Yeah. So when you're in breakout rooms, the breakout rooms will be two parts. One is where you're working on your stuff. Definitely switch your video off then. Then you'll come back in the breakout room. You'll be interacting with each other. I really want you to switch your video on them because you're going to be sharing. And I want everybody to see your expressions and be interacting as a team. Yeah. So if you could do that, please. We're going to record the session. And there will be breakout rooms. The breakout rooms are where you really do the stuff, yeah, right? But when I ask you to do something, I really want you to do it. Don't just sit there passively and watch everybody else. Logically, if you don't do it now, while you're allocating, investing 3 hours of your time, you're not going to do it afterwards. It always works out that way. I know it works that way. And I really, I want you to walk away and go, yeah, this is actually, I know what I'm doing now. And today's session is going to give you what you need to master LinkedIn as you move forward. We're really big on annotate. So you can see view options at the top. And if you click annotate, and then what I want you to do is I want you to go to shapes and I want you to put love hearts all over the screen. There you go. So as I'm going through the session, if you like something, put a love heart next to it, okay? Right? Mark it, right? Tick next to it. Let me know you like it. It's interesting. The more you do that for me, the better it is, yeah, right? Because we're all in this together. And Graham will just clear it. It's fine. Or I'll clear it. We can get rid of it, yeah? Okay? So this is interactive, right? And this is this is how we should be engaging with our customers as well, right? We've got to be doing this interaction piece with them. And then you get a deeper relationship in a virtual world, yeah, right? It does change things. So thank you. That's fantastic. Right. Graham will clear that now. So let me go to the next one. So profile build, yeah, right? Overview of what we're going to do, yeah? So we're going to look at where LinkedIn fits into your business, profile, building contacts, how to have a strategic, proper conversation, and then how to post, okay? I'm going to give you ways of doing this that 100% work. So there's no debate on this. We know they work. We've trained 150, 200 people, but we don't give you any gimmicks. So there's no shortcut. There's no easy way to do this where there's no do an emoji here and it fixes it, yeah, right? Or any of that stuff, yeah, right? It's all vanilla. Do it properly, follow the system, take your time, be professional. And that's how you get LinkedIn working. That's how we get LinkedIn working really, really effectively. And we use a principle called Bloom's taxonomy. Our courses are designed by an NUS lecturer, yeah, right? One of the profs from here, Lynette, yeah, right? Dr. Lynette. And, we use Bloom's taxonomy. So you understand the topic, you apply it, and then you do it, make it your own. And you're going to do all of these 3 stages today, yeah? And that's going to be a very different process for you than what you're doing normally. You're physically going to do it, you know? Survey results. Thank you very much for everyone for doing the survey, by the way. Really, really helpful. It helps us get a bit of context. So if you look here, how many connections do you have on LinkedIn? So you can see most of you are less than 1,000. Someone there is special, right? Got 7,000, which is fantastic. Someone's got almost 2,000, which is brilliant, okay? How many post articles created in the last 4 weeks? So most not doing very much, okay? Some very active, some not so active, yeah? How many conversations have you had in LinkedIn in the last 4 weeks? So you can see most, not too many. How many appointments have you booked? Most, not too many, but someone's been very effective. So someone here, a couple of you are doing a really good job, yeah? So again, for you, you're going to be at a different pace, but hopefully what you're going to get is some insight. The second is, I want you to ask questions, right? How do I do this? What happens with that? I've been doing this, Fraser. You know, it's worked for me really well. How can I make that better, right? That's the question I want to hear from the people that know what they're doing, okay? So we know we're in a new world now. It is digital. If you don't master LinkedIn, you're missing something, okay? You're missing an opportunity there. You're missing the real world. I do not find most people get LinkedIn right and understand the base principles behind it. So we start with lead generation and look at your lead gen process. In fact, I was at a meeting today, and someone said they had a problem with their business, but actually his problem was he had no lead gen process, right? There was no structure there. So if you look at lead generation, it starts with, where are the people I need to talk to, yeah? Are they in BNI? Are they on your LinkedIn, yeah, right? You know, are they in your phone and you already know them, yeah, right? And you're not interacting with them, yeah? So you then have to pull them somewhere, right? You have to activate them, yeah, right? By doing lead gen, you go networking, you do one-to-ones, yeah, right? You use LinkedIn and you reach out. You've then got to store them somewhere, because there's no point in getting a contact at a BNI event or through a BNI person and then not storing it, not managing it properly. Okay, we then step into, how do we nurture our contacts on an ongoing basis? Someone comes to a BNI event, what do you do with it, right? How do you nurture that, okay, person? How do you stay in touch? How do you humanize the relationship? And then finally, how do we convert that into a meeting? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, sales and driving revenue is about the number and the quality of meetings that you do with new people on a weekly basis. Every single sale starts with a first meeting. Every time, right? It cannot be anything else, yeah? So the quality and number of sales meetings, profoundly important to you, okay? And I give you existing context. Someone's put a heart next to that. We've got these databases, yeah, right? And I'm not going to drill down on this, but they're all there, right? You'd be surprised at what you've actually got as a resource. And we measure this in time and months, not in years, not weeks and days, yeah, right? It's a long burn, which at BNI everybody knows, right? You know that someone new coming into BNI takes 3 to 6 months just to establish themselves, another 6 months to move forward, and then year 2 usually when it starts to really work for them properly. Okay, so what stops you guys from using LinkedIn more effectively? Can you write here, if you go to view options, annotate, and then put in here and then go to text, what stops you from using LinkedIn more effectively? I changed this, Graham, I can see you noticed that, yeah.
I did. Very good. Oops.
Right. Not sure what to share in LinkedIn. That's good, right? Excellent. Need time to focus on more articles. Not confident. Time, I agree with you on the time. Time's a huge thing, right? How to use properly. And a little bit of the content, some of you have actually seen before, but some of you weren't there at the presentation. So some of it will be repeated, but we spend very little time on that, by the way, yeah. Don't know what content to post. Not used to using LinkedIn's a good one, right? Yeah, nice. Email blast is not so effective, yeah, right? So it's a bit manual.
I think there's a really good one there. It's slightly obscured. Not sure if time in LinkedIn is worth it. And I came from a previous organization where I had business leaders who felt that way. I strongly disagree, because there's a lot of money inside these social media companies, and there's a reason money exists there. And you'll see that as we go through. So it's fair enough that I say it is worth it, but part of the proof is in the pudding, as you say, is in the tasting.
And you've got to be using it the right way. And Jonathan mentioned a really good thing we were talking earlier. You work through LinkedIn the same as you work through BNI, right? You know, you don't sell in BNI, you work through it, right? And on LinkedIn's a tool that works very similar way to that. You know? So this is good, right? So we struggle for a variety of reasons. Usually it's time, not understanding, you know, not really being able to translate into something effective. At the end of the day today, you will have the fundamentals there, and you'll have a base set of principles that as a start point will give you a much better handle on what you should be doing and when you should be doing it. Okay, so LinkedIn is huge. Okay, let's not get away from this. Yeah. It's, you know, back in 2009, 37 million, 720 million is staggering, right? Okay. If you look at Singapore over here, you can see 2 million plus, must be 2.5 million now. Okay, so 50% of the population's on LinkedIn. I mean, you can imagine a percentage of business people there is staggering. Very few business people in Singapore now are not on LinkedIn.
Just to focus on a point you made earlier, Fraser, so your audience is there, but they're not effective. So you can be effective through using what we're going to clarify here. You get to be in front of half the population, which is fantastic.
And 75% of users love LinkedIn. Okay, so people like it, right? You know, it's got really good star ratings. So very few people don't like it, yeah, right? You know, it's a popular tool. Why do we love it? It eliminates cold calling. You don't lose your contacts; they're with you forever. There's no more location barrier. So you want to expand into a foreign country, it's very easy to do it, yeah, right, through LinkedIn. Easy to ask for referrals, great business intelligence, and it builds your brand. So LinkedIn's not just useful as a business development tool. It's also useful from a recruitment tool. It's useful from a building out your brand with colleagues within your business. It's an important tool for a variety of different reasons, and even for students. I mean, I do a little bit of work teaching my wife's students, and what we're able to do with them is teach them a year and a half before they start planning for internships. They're already connecting with the partners and the right firms and having conversations with them. So when it comes to asking for an internship, it's much, much easier. Yeah. So it's got a lot of purposes there. Like you're either in the dark ages, you're in the modern world. We're either lazy and we're going, I'm not going to do it, or we're going to engage it, right? You know, but we all know what happens when you don't do it. There's just not really any reason not to be there, yeah. And LinkedIn is Facebook with a tie. So it is social media. Let's not get away from that. It didn't used to be. It used to be a recruitment tool. But it is a social media for business, yeah, right? It's where business people interact with each other, and it's becoming better and better and better as they navigate through it. I'm liking what they do with it, yeah, right? It really is very, very nice, yeah. So profile review. What do you need in your profile? I'm going to break these down, but background, complete, add skills, good summary, recommendations, etc. So we're not going to spend too long in here, because actually your profiles are quite good, but we are going to do a few things and get you to do a little bit of work together on fixing your profiles up so that it works effectively. So the first thing is, right, is go on, Graham.
Sorry, just in the chat, I had it raised and brought to my attention. It was actually in the survey and questionnaire as well. Some people flagged they are brand new to LinkedIn and they just switch their profiles on.
Okay.
All I would just like to say is, breathe. It's okay. We will get you there. These checklists will walk you through it. You are seeing complete profiles. It can be a little overwhelming, but that's why we're here today, to actually help you grow. And in some ways, you're in a better position than somebody who has fully built their profile, is in love with it, but the profile is actually quite bad, and they would be less willing to change it. So don't worry.
And there's everybody here from very experienced to completely new. So yeah, Graham's right. Don't worry about it. Just again, actually the using LinkedIn is very, very simple. If you just do what I ask you to do, it's 1 hour and it's fixed, right? It's all perfect, okay? But we're going to help you get that right today. So the start point is get a professional picture taken, okay? Go and get someone to take a professional picture. Go to one of these photo shops where they print your photos or do a passport photo, get a white background, get the right light, and get them to take a nice picture of you for $50. Get someone within BNI that's a photographer to take a picture for $50 or $100, okay? And I'm going to tell you why in a second. Get the background done secondly. So we use Unsplash, which is basically free pictures that you can use whenever you want. So Unsplash. And put a background picture. It looks neater, and you can use the background picture around what you're doing. So at this point, I was in Edinburgh, working in Edinburgh when I took this picture. So to let people know I was in Edinburgh, I had this picture as my background. Now I have a picture of Singapore. Singapore and Edinburgh, actually. So I got one mixed with a mix of the two, yeah? Okay. Now, does anybody know what is the primary reason to have a picture, background, and a good title there? What is the primary purpose of it? You can open your microphones as well, yeah? Or pop it in the chat.
Good frontage.
Pardon?
It gives you a good frontage of what the people looks at you.
Yeah, it does. It gives you a good frontage, yeah? And why do you want a good frontage? What is it you want about it, yeah? What do you want to happen because of that?
First impression. Attract people.
Pardon?
Attract people to talk to you.
You want people to talk to you. So you want to attract them, but what you do want is when you connect with them, you want a higher percentage of people connecting with you.
First impression.
First impressions, exactly, right? Exactly, yeah. First impressions.
Just to add, I think it's really encouraging everybody sharing which photographer to use.
I know, brilliant, right? Yeah, it's good, right? You do it. You know, we all got to help each other out. It's brilliant, right? Okay, so it's fantastic. So the number one purpose is if I connect with the CEO of a bank, because that's my target market, I want them to connect with me, right? If my profile looks a bit rough, a bit amateur, and the title's not very good, there's going to be a problem, isn't there? So think about that very carefully. When you put a pitch, you think, I can save you $10,000 in your title, right? No one's going to connect with you because of that, right? You do understand that. That no way I know in principle it makes sense to you, but you wouldn't connect with someone else if they had that in their title. I wouldn't, right? Because I'm like, oh, here we go, yeah? I can give you this, I can do that. So think about what you're putting there. It needs to be sophisticated. It can lay out what you do, right? I have no issue with that with the background. Some people have done some amazing backgrounds, yeah? But think about the people that you want to connect with. Would they connect with you if they see something a bit transactional, a bit needy in the picture, yeah? And if you've got a complex background like I have here, you want a simple foreground here in my picture, yeah? If I have a picture where I'm out and about, okay, which is okay, done by a professional, I would have a very plain background. So they don't mess each other up. Okay. So you've got to complete your profile. The algorithms in LinkedIn are astoundingly simple, complex, yeah? Okay. They spend billions on the algorithms here, right? They're highly advanced on what they do. You've got to make sure it's all done the right way. I mean, LinkedIn encourages you, they gamify it for you, so it's good. It's very difficult to get it wrong because they nag you about it, okay? But you must complete it accurately and get the information in there the right way. I think the about, I'm big on the about, okay? I like the about. I think this is where you personalized your LinkedIn. Your about should not have the first paragraph of your CV. And I want to tell you a little secret here. People don't read the about very often. So the about is actually for you, yeah? Okay? So the about is your passion. The about is where you take ownership of your profile and you make it personal. You make it a real human thing, yeah, right, that you're doing. Yeah? So ever since I was a little kid, software development's been my passion. I still remember sitting in front of an Atari 800. For those of you who are old enough like me, who know what an Atari 800 is, yeah? Okay, we know this person loves computing. Don't get sucked into, I mean, the worst is I'm a brilliant salesperson. I'm really good at closing and I won all these awards and I was amazing and I'm MDRT, and you know, if your clients know that you're the best salesperson and you're recognized for that, it's going to scare people off, yeah? I know it makes you feel good, right? But the reality is we want results from this. You want it working for you. You want to be making money from this profile, yeah? It's got a purpose. You've got to be objective about it. But the personalization of this lets people see how human you are. It's really, really useful. And I found I've used this as the description of who I am many times when I'm doing events and I'm doing other things, okay? Right, recommendations. I don't know if you all get recommendations, but you should get recommendations on LinkedIn. They're very authentic. They're very easy to do. and it's a great way of interacting with your clients. It's a great way of interacting with your colleagues as well, with your BNI fellow members. Yeah, right. Get recommendations from them. It's a very, very nice thing to do. It affects your sort of like structure within the algorithms within LinkedIn, but it's also very good for people to come in and have a look and see what other people think. They're more authentic than anywhere else that I've found. They're not fake because people put them in. Don't write them for people though. And when someone says, write it for me, don't do it. Just say, can you just do it yourself? Yeah. Because I can always tell when someone's written them themselves. They'll sound really similar. Okay. So, okay. And then keep up to date with industry information. So we're going to do our own breakout room, okay? But now what I want to do is I want to look at this profile. What's wrong with this profile? I want you to circle the bits in it that are wrong, yeah? What's broken about it?
No photo, no background.
Yeah, no background, no photo. What else?
If you get stuck, just follow the checklist at the bottom.
Yeah. Cool. Put some notes in as well, right? Excellent. So what else is wrong? Give me some other things specifically that are wrong with it.
It's looked like a template.
It's a template, right? I mean, you don't see many like this, so people are not really using these anymore. But I want to use this as an example. So what else is wrong with it technically? Yeah? No company profile, no picture. What else?
The experiences part, there's no description, right?
There's no description.
Yeah.
It's not tagged to anything, yeah? And so one other thing that in here that's really bad about this, yeah? How many connections does she have? 16, right?
Yeah.
What's the magic number?
500.
500, right? Why 500? It's 500 because that's the number where above that LinkedIn doesn't put it publicly there for everybody. Although you can see it by looking at the number of contacts that people have, yeah, right? So you can actually see how many connections people have, but or followers, I think it is, yeah. So 16 connections is not enough. If you've got less than 500, I know that as a business person, you're not using LinkedIn properly. Yeah? I know that, right? That's a fact, right? And sometimes someone will say to me, well, you know, Fraser, actually, there's an exception to this. I only have 100 of my best contacts in LinkedIn. How many of those 100 contacts know that they're 1 in 100? Does anybody know? None. No one knows that they're special, which actually means what you're doing is pointless, yeah? Okay, so we need to have 500 as a minimum, but really, why would you not have a database of 3,000 people or 4,000? It doesn't make sense. Every single one of those 3,000 I can send a message to. If I'm not connected to them, I can't send a message. Okay, so let me move forward. Okay, what do we like? What don't we like about this? But this is Lisa as well, right? They're both called Lisa, actually. Yeah, so.
The background's so distracting.
The background's distracting. It just doesn't fit, does it? And it's messy there and it's messy here, right? What else? So someone circled passionate about people. Do you like that or do you not like it? No, not going to answer me. You're going to be quiet.
I think it's okay, but it's quite CV-like, right?
I agree. Yeah,
not a lot of storytelling, but it's a generic CV resume.
Absolutely.
Formal kind of yeah.
Exactly that, right? It's anybody could have written that, right?
It's very general, not personal.
Too general, right? Agree. Yeah.
So Andrew Yap put an interesting thing in the chat. He said it doesn't look very professional.
No.
But it does depend what your profession is
Yeah.
as well. So I do always take that into consideration.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. And then what do we think of her title?
it doesn't show specialization.
No, you wouldn't know quite what she does, yeah? Now I asked, do you notice the picture here as well? Does anybody know what's there where my mouse is? Do you know what that is? It's wine glasses. Right? So it's for me, it's all about professionalism. It's about being perfect. This is the face of who you are, right? Okay. So I've chosen 3 profiles at random. I'm really sorry. I don't know whose I've chosen. I did ask permission, right, from you. So the 3 did give me permission to do this. And we're going to go into their profiles and have a little look now, okay, if that's all right. Yeah. So apologies. And I really appreciate you volunteering as well. You didn't really volunteer, but you did say yes. So, and hopefully you did say yes. So, so if I just clear this, Graham, that'd be great. If you can. Sometimes it gets stuck, yeah. But there you go, you've got it, yeah, perfect. So, okay, Yi Ying, what do we think of her profile? What's good about it first?
Nice photo, good background, slogan.
Yeah, I think the background and the picture, look how professional it is. Really nice smile, warm, really plain in the background with a complex picture behind her, yeah. It's perfect, it's textbook, yeah. Really, really textbook, yeah. Not needy, not salesy, right? She's not selling anything, yeah. Great job title, co-founder. Okay. What's wrong with it? What's not working, yeah? Where could she improve it?
I think when we talked about section, I think some storytelling will be great. So now she's showing credentials, which is important. She's important, but maybe being able to just have a paragraph before that to talk about her passion for sports or martial arts. Yes, Ying. Yeah, there are copywriters around, and I can write as well. But yes. Just having that storytelling about what made her fall in love with maybe boxing or kickboxing, whatever, and then the credentials will come after, maybe.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. Your story can be, how did you get into Muay Thai, right? You know, one day I realized, right, that I just wasn't fit enough. My core strength wasn't right enough. And I was walking past a Muay Thai and I never looked back, right? And you tell a story about it, right? You know, and it changed my life. It transformed this, and you can tell a story, yeah? Exactly, yeah? So what else is wrong with this? What else could she fix?
Fraser, one technical point. Remember, on a mobile phone, your picture moves to the right, so it can move over text. Yeah. So you need to view on a mobile as well as a laptop. Yeah.
So always think of that. In a mobile phone, probably love what you do will be covered, right? So you would push them to the right so that you could see both of them when someone's looking at mobile, because about 80%, 70% of LinkedIn's done on a phone. Maybe it's less now because of COVID, but okay. So final point, you're all missing one point. What's missing? She's only got 265 connections. Okay? You've got a target market there. You should know who you should be talking to, what age group, what people, what industries, what businesses. You know, in Singapore, you can be connecting with them and they know what you do and how you do it. Yeah? And because you're a managing director, you have to be the most connected person in your business. You have to set the example, you know? Right, let's jump forward. Again, it's random. Okay, Lucas, I don't know, Lucas, yeah, right? I think it is, yeah, right? So let's have a look at Lucas. What do we think of his picture and his background? You're not allowed to say anything, Lucas, right? You just got to, you get this unique opportunity to hear what people think. Be blunt. He's cool, yeah?
Working from home.
Yeah. Working from home.
Less than 500 connections.
Yeah, less than 500 connections. Good.
Missing background.
There's no background. What do you think his profile picture?
A little too casual.
Yeah, I'm sort of okay with it. I just think it's maybe a little bit blurred. It's not, you need a really sharp, crisp picture if you're going to do that. And I would suggest if you're going to do that, you get a photographer to do it for you, yeah? Yeah, I like what you're trying to do with it, yeah. I think it's good because it puts some character in there. And I've had people that have done amazing profile pictures in overalls, yeah, right? Because they're oil engineers, right? Okay, that's okay. It just needs to be done properly, though. You're right. You know, it's when it's not done properly that you have a problem. Yeah. Okay. So
personal description.
Personal description. What do we think of that?
It's too short. I mean, that's the first impression people will just go through to know who you are. They summarize who you are before they go any further, don't they?
I quite like it, right? Life can be a roller coaster. One time you're up, and the other time you're down. Drop. If you have a strong. I mean, it's a good start, right? You know, we don't know what's below it because you've got C more there, right? So I don't know what comes next, yeah? So actually, I thought this was quite reasonable from a personalization perspective, yeah? Depending on what he does, yeah, right? You know, what he's trying to achieve, yeah? So it doesn't give an insight into what you're doing. That would be what I would sort of agree with you on that, yeah? Go on.
There's a comment in the chats that the banner actually, the default kind of color look like a graphic. I think all I would say to this is LinkedIn's not that mean. They're not going to put up, this person has no banner, or they're not going to put up something very ugly.
They should, yeah.
Shame them publicly. But people that are on LinkedIn know what that is. Yeah. They know what that is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. So let's move to the next one, the last one. Winston. What do we think of Winston?
I think whatever title he has, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a financial advisor rep, catalyst, networker, connector. I think it's just a lot, and I wouldn't know what I'm looking at. And for a while, my eyes kind of drifted away because there's just so much that I'm taking in. Yeah.
And it's a really good point. And Winston, that's what you've got to take the feedback. What do other people see here, right? What do we all think of it? I'll come back to that in a second, Hatta, but what do you think of his picture and his background?
The profile picture, I think it's, it can be framed better. I think it's
a nice picture, right?
Kind of like squished. Yeah, but it's clear though, yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice picture. It's a good smile on his face, right? I like his face, yeah, right? It looks nice, yeah? Comes across trustworthy, but you're right. Just bring it in a little bit, yeah, right? So you've got a little bit of edge. I think the picture in the background is nice, a rainbow. The title, you just got to be careful. Remember, if people see that you're a financial advisor, or you're a salesperson, or if you're if you're selling something, there's a tendency not to connect with you because they're going to think you're going to sell to them, yeah? If they're not connected to you, you can't engage with them. So you just need to get the tone of that right. I think maybe there's just a little bit much there, but I don't think it's a disaster, yeah? So I think you've just got to think of it, so you just got to be careful of that. And then look below, experienced financial representative with a demonstrated history of working in financial services industry. So again, that's a CV from a CV, yeah? Why are you in financial services? What have you done? What inspired you to do it? You're right. What have you seen change? You're right. What's the inspiration behind who you are and what you are? Yeah. Make sense? Everybody make sense? Cool. So let's move on, right? What we're going to do is we're going to do something here, right? I want everybody to go in and review their titles, and I want you to review your about, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to put you in 3 breakout rooms, and you for the first 50 minutes, you're going to switch your camera off, you're going to pull your LinkedIn profile up, and you're going to review your about, right? So if you want to cut and paste it out, put it into a Word document and edit in there, that's fine. If you just want to go straight into LinkedIn and edit, that's fine. And then for the second 10 minutes, you're going to share your profile, right? So we're not going to get through everybody in each room. That's just not possible. But you'll share your profile in the room, right? So those that want to can share their profiles, the about, and then Graham, myself, and Ray will give you feedback on your abouts, yeah? So 15 minutes, and I want everybody to personalize their about. If you've got a really good about, that's brilliant. Go back and review it. Yeah, right. I review my about every 3 months, and I find I get a different tone. I readjust, and the environment's different, and the message I want to put over is different, and I change it. Yeah, so it's a constant work of art. And then once you've done that, my purpose is that once you change your about and your title, you own your profile at that point. Then it's just an issue usually of getting a professional picture there. And the background picture is really easy to do. Yeah, right. And I mean, I change my background picture all the time. Yeah. So you can keep reviewing that depending on what you're trying to achieve. Like I'm going to go to Scotland soon. I've got a project in Australia when I go. Well, I was going to go. That's not going to happen now, right? But I would have, if I was going to be in Sydney, I'd have put a picture of Sydney Bridge on there, right? You know, or I was doing a project with mining. We put mining in there, right? So, right. Okay. So Graham, do you want to put everybody into breakout rooms? Before I go, sorry, Graham, does anybody have questions? Quite easy, huh?
Hi, Fraser, I'm Yen. I have a question.
Hi.
I understand the profile photo needing to be sharp and white background, but I'm still unclear. What is a suitable background photo to put there?
Yeah, so what's your industry?
I'm a home baker and I'm very new to LinkedIn. I have not used LinkedIn before.
No problem, right?
Yeah.
So go into unsplash.com.
All right.
And put bakery in there.
I see. All right.
And you will find free pictures of baking, right? You know, okay. And I would have that as the background, and then have a really nice picture of you home baking. Maybe you put a chef's outfit in, you're right, or you look the part, right? You know, you fit into that environment and it becomes your brand, yeah.
Right. I have one more question. So if I go to unsplash.com and I look for free photos like bakery, but what if those cakes are not how I make mine? So would that be a misrepresentation of myself and my bakes?
No, see, you're basically putting the message across in bakery. So I would use one of those for the time being, yeah, right? Okay. I mean, you could have a picture of a baker's, right? You know, that's just a bakery without cakes in it. I mean, you can do whatever, you could choose something. But then I would suggest what you do is the next time you do a piece of baking, right? And it's beautiful, take a picture. Use that.
Right. Okay, thank you so much, Fraser.
No. And I would, that's the beautiful thing about your job, right? You can actually post a picture of what you've done, right?
Yeah, I think I can keep changing that.
Yeah,
because
exactly,
there could be new selections.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
Right, anybody else got questions?
I do. Fraser, is there a guideline for how long the about should be? How long?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question, right? I would say minimum a paragraph, maximum 2 paragraphs. So less is more, right? You know, it's harder to write less than it is to write longer. Okay, so and remember, the first line needs to be punchy. It needs to draw people in, right? And you're going to hear this when we talk about posting later. The first line really has to have a bit of a message there. You need to, let me just jump back here. So if you all want to take a screenshot of this, okay? Describe what makes you tick, explain your role, highlight what you love, reveal your character, take a quick screenshot of this, make the first sentence count, pump the words. Yeah, it's you guys, it sounds like I know about marketing. I don't know anything, right? So, you know, it's like there's lots of copy people here, right? You know, that you can actually then go back to and get them to help you, yeah? Okay? Tell a story, as Hata said, right? Yeah? All okay?
Fraser, just want to check with you. What do you think is a good background photo for a financial consultant?
I think you can have a city background, you can have a money-related background, you could have a digital background, you could have a digital background, you could, because digital and financial services are crossing over with each other. You know, I mean, I would want to put something across that's stable, but simple and clean. Not too transactional, yeah. Or you could have something about a family. If you're a life insurance, it's about stability. You could have a generic picture of a family chilling together, yeah, right? Or, you know, if you specialize in different types of investments, you can have something that reflects that. So the idea is an Unsplash, search for a word that reflects what you want to reflect, yeah?
Thank you.
No problem, yeah. Anybody else? And Graham and Ray are really good, right? So they know to be able to ask them questions in the group. So the idea, though, is 10 to 15 minutes, write your about, and then you're going to share and get feedback from the other group, right? So that's really going to get you thinking and doing it, yeah, right? That's the main thing I want you doing, yeah? Okay? And you all give each other feedback. It's not just us giving you feedback. Right, Graham, let's go. Okay, excellent. So now we step into one of the toughest topics. And I'm going to make you all a little bit uncomfortable here. You know, so I apologize ahead of time, but that's just the way it is. And again, I'm really glad you all wrote out your abouts. You know, you've got to go home and do it. Get that right. Get your title right. Now we're going to step into a database, right? LinkedIn, because ultimately it is a database. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions. We can answer them, not answer them. I'm pretty relaxed about it. But I really want you to think about them, okay? So first of all, where are all your contacts now? Do you all know? Why don't you put a yes or a no? If you know where all your contacts are and they're all segregated nice and neatly, type a yes on the board or type no if you don't know. Or put an X or a tick, yeah? That's good as well, right?
To be honest, it's all over the place.
Yeah, good. So put an X, yeah? Not so sure. That's good, right? Thanks. Yeah, just put it there, right? This is reflection, okay? So just blast it up there, yeah? Google, yeah, that's really funny. In Singapore, yeah. Excellent. And Sales Navigator, but still messy. That's good, though. I'm glad you're using Sales Navigator. Like, that's brilliant, right? Really great, yeah? And as I said, there's other people at one end and others at another end. So the biggest problem that I cause people, and Graham causes people when we work with them, biggest disturbance that we give them is we talk about databases. That's the biggest nightmare I give everyone, right? And I can see it because there you go. Thank you. Yeah, but don't know who is from where. Brilliant. Okay, so let's go with the next question. Do you have a list, one singular list of your existing clients? Yes or no? Yay, excellent, Andrea. That's great. Yeah. Thanks for being candid, though. Yeah. Good. So we got a bit more of a balance here, right? But good, and you know. Yeah. So we've got some yeses and nos, which is great. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm asking you to be honest with yourself here. Is it accurate? Is it up to date? Is it in one place? Because it could be CRM, it could be a Navigator, and it could be on Excel, right? Or it could be, and I had this friend of mine who had all of his contacts and business cards in a plastic bag. And inside the bag, he had 3 bags. Yeah, one was existing clients, one was prospects, and one was random. Yeah. But he was organized. Yeah. Good. So next question. Have you identified your strong contacts?
And if you're thinking to yourself, how to define a strong contact, I think the answer to that question might be no.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
And it's okay if you don't know what a strong contact is. And that's a really exciting space to be in because they could be all around you, but you're just not sure.
Good. Excellent. So again, thank you for being so candid. And this is the answers we normally get, right? This is where people are, right? And this reflection, not sure, is really critical. If I can clear this, Graham, that would be really fab. Yeah. So we have to think of LinkedIn, right, as a database here, right? It is one of our databases. And if we haven't got our contacts organized outside of LinkedIn, we definitely haven't got them organized inside of LinkedIn, okay? And it's something that you need to all be thinking about, yeah? Okay, but these are the number of connections you have on LinkedIn as groups, as individuals. So you can see on the survey, only 2 of you really have a substantial amount. We've got 2 here above 500 as well, yeah? Okay? So again, you know, so yeah. So let me just go back to this. So how many connections do you have? We know it's 500. You need to have minimum, yeah? And I want to raise this issue with you. Why, think about this. Why would you not have 3,000, 4,000 connections? Hatta, you're marketing, right? If someone's got 200 connections on LinkedIn and someone's got 3,000 in LinkedIn, what's the difference from a marketing point of view?
I think one person looks a lot more legit. The larger base of connections, it's more legitimate. Looks like it's like a shop, right? If everyone's flooding to a shop, it feels like you have value.
Yeah, true.
Versus shop, which is empty, which has less value. So I think that's important.
And
display value.
On top of that as well, if you've got 3,000 people, you can interact with them, right?
Oh, yes, that too, yes.
That helps, right?
yeah. So you have a base to kind of talk about your services or product or your stories,
Graham?
So I would take that metaphor and I would tweak it a little bit. Is that okay? I would say that it's the difference between having your shop in a mall with high footfall and low footfall. The 3,000 has put themselves where 3,000 they know a high amount of people move, as opposed to having 3,000 people in the shop. It's a big difference.
Yeah, great analogy. I like it. Yeah, really good. Okay.
In fact, can I jump in just one question? Because if I can see somebody with, I know, 5,000-10,000 the connections, I'm just asking how the person can time for work, because probably you need to just answer all messages every whole day. So I'm not sure if the person is really focused on business or just on networking, because of course it's fun.
So again, it's how you use LinkedIn, right? So I mean, I've got, I don't know, I think it's 11,000 connections, right? And I don't get messages all the time from people. I get messages from the people that know me, But the thing to think about is it's not just about interacting with 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, right? If you do a post, a certain percentage of your contacts see it, right, and can interact with you. If you run an event through LinkedIn, if you've got 5,000 names, you could run an event every week and invite 1,000 every week. It's different people that are getting invited, So it gives you choices, right, and how you use LinkedIn. So what we're giving you today is a base principle on how you use LinkedIn. So this is connecting, posting, profile, and how to have conversations. But the next level is, how do I interact with these people, right? How do I do it on scale without losing all my time? So go on, Graham.
I think, and I promise we haven't secretly paid Lucas to ask us that really appropriate question. But I don't know if you all noticed. But I don't know if you all noticed, the title changed. We were quite sneaky. In the survey, we asked you how many connections do you have in LinkedIn, and you very kindly answered that question. But then we changed the title here to read, how large is your database on LinkedIn? And Lucas raised a really good point of this word connections. I don't like, LinkedIn didn't do it on purpose. They aren't trying to trick you or trap you, but there is this association that we in all of our training about LinkedIn, it creates a big speed bump. It's when they say connections, it's like friends on Facebook. Are you actually friends with all those people? No, probably not. When you see the word connections in LinkedIn, scratch that out of your mind. It is not a useful word. See the word instead, database. If you then want to connect with those people, and as you know, as Lucas said, it's like if you had 3,000, how on earth are you connected? It doesn't make any sense. And he's dead right. It doesn't, because it's not a connection. You're not actually connecting until you choose to. And that is a separate process. So try, if you can, kind of in your mind to divorce the two things. Connect a number of connections versus connecting. It's separate.
Yeah, it's a really great point, Graham, and it's very difficult to rationalize that, And what Graham's actually saying is that LinkedIn has two very clear separate purposes, Okay, and you need to activate both of them no matter what you're doing. Even if, my wife works in the university at NUS, she connected with all the senior people so that when she posts, LinkedIn works out who sees her posts, So it starts to build her brand in academia, but she also connects with other universities and other people to build it out, right? Because she's not trying to get a new job, but she's pushing her content out there, right? And sharing it with the right people, with students, with you know, and so on and so forth. So let me keep going, Graham, because I'm just conscious of time.
Sure.
Okay, so building connections and communicating. And so we sort of look at phases within LinkedIn. You've got connection requests, you've got human engagement, not an automated engagement. The person then responds to you, and then what do you do with that? Yeah. So you'll notice I put next steps. I don't put what it is. Yeah. It's a very important point because it's forever. Yeah. Okay. So we start with connection requests. I'm going to show you two methods of connecting with people just as a base principle. So number one, let me just pull this over here. Number one, we've done a search for graphic designers, okay? Now, anybody know why I've done this? I've done this because if you want to be a master connector in BNI, and let's get the tone of it into BNI as well, and you can do it for your own businesses, and you're short of people in your chapter that are graphic designers, why not connect with 5 graphic designers, yeah? Now, does anybody know, well, we can see here, there's 3.5 million graphic designers in the world, okay? Okay. So now what we do is we do second connections and we do Singapore, okay? So we do second connections because if they're first connections, I don't want to connect with them. And second connections means that there's someone I know knows them. And I don't want to connect with someone outside Singapore. I want to keep it focused in Singapore. But if I'm in the UK, operating in UK, I'll do it in the UK. If I'm functioning in Australia, I'll actually go as narrow as where I'm going to be, Brisbane or Perth or Sydney, and I'll do it like that, yeah? Now, does anybody know how many graphic designers are in Singapore? Give me a guess.
3,000.
Let's have a look.
200,000.
Right? 4,000, that's not a bad guess, right? Well done. 4,700, yeah?
That is on LinkedIn, Fraser.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Ray. So 4,700 graphic designers. So if you don't have a graphic designer in your chapter, why would you not connect with a few of them and say, hey, look, you know, I don't know if you ever considered this before, and you can have a conversation with them, yeah? It's LinkedIn, right? You send a text, it's easy, yeah? So the next thing you do is you press connect, okay? Okay, and then you send. You don't need to send a message with it. LinkedIn automatically sends a message. Some people say, I'd like to send a personalized message. We did a study of it. We sent 1,000 messages, 500 personalized, 500 not personalized. The pickup was exactly the same, plus or minus 2, yeah? It makes no difference. Ray?
That is based on your profile being as where we've taken everybody to. Yeah. If your profile says nothing, then it's not going to work. If your profile is right, you only need to press connect.
Yeah. Okay. So connect. Okay. Now, does anybody know how many connections you're limited to each week now? LinkedIn's changed it to 100. Does anybody know how long it takes to send 1,000 connection requests? Have a guess. 1,000, right? Let's have it. You put it in the chat. Let's have a look. 1 second. Can't do that. No way, yeah?
15 minutes.
Yeah, it's really a good guess, right? I'm impressed. Yeah, not 10 days. That's funny. 31 minutes, yeah? And that was when you could do that, yeah? Okay. So my target market is sales directors, yeah, or founders, yeah, right, of business of a certain size. So if I send 1,000 connection requests to sales directors and I get 600 of them connect with me, that's a very useful database, right? And you should all know what type of company, which industry you want to connect with. You should know that, yeah, that's in your sleep. And every week you need to connect with 50 people. Minimum, send connection requests to 50. Okay, so method 2 is drill down. So what we've done here is HR directors, okay, in the United Kingdom. So we just gone for a different group just to give you a different feeling for it, okay? But I'm going to break this search down into a different search. We're going to look at the company. You can actually narrow it down to a specific company. So you could say BT or GSK, yeah? We're now got 700 HR directors, yeah? So you can actually focus on your marketplace if you know your marketplace, because you research the companies in that marketplace and then you connect with HR within it, yeah? So it's really, really useful for doing this. So now what I'm going to do, does anybody have any questions about that? Any questions? Let me pull this up here. I must move this over. Right. Everyone's very quiet. No questions. You've got to have questions.
So we have one in the chat.
Excellent.
That says BT and GSK is the company name that we are searching, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's exactly it. And it will be different
depending
if you want a different company.
So let's go back here. So we go to home, okay? Okay. And we're going to do a search here. So what I want to do is someone that's focused. So let's, Joseph Tan. Can I pick you at random, yeah? Can I get you to switch your mic on? Good. Okay, what person would you be selling your business into? What role, yeah? Can you talk? You need to unmute, you're muted.
HR?
Yeah, I'm gonna let Joseph. Sorry, Joseph?
Hi, Joseph here.
Yeah,
Hi,
what role would you want to sell your products to, yeah? Who would be a perfect client? Pardon?
Working professional business owners.
Yeah, so give me a better title than
planning.
That. What, sorry?
I would like to target my estate planning services to business owner or working professionals.
Good. But it's too generic, right? So I need you to drill down. What role? Managing directors, CEO, founders? You know, what's the role that you want to deal with?
Specifically, single shareholder business owners.
So would it be a founder?
Yes, founder could be.
Let's call it a founder, right? So founder. Now, this is called segmentation, okay? You should know this, right? Even if you're selling B2C, you should know what your marketplace is and have it narrow. In financial services, the best financial advisors focus on marketplace like doctors, surgeons, lawyers, partners, yeah, right? You know, they know who they're dealing with, yeah, right? You know, and what their market is, and they know which age group, yeah, right? They know which industries, yeah. Because once you're dealing with one person in one industry, it's much easier for them to introduce you to someone else in their industry than it is to introduce you to someone outside the industry, yeah?
Yep, got you.
So, and you can have 10 segments, okay? That's fine, right? So let's do founders. How many founders are in Singapore? Anybody know? How many founders in Singapore? So there's 8 million founders worldwide, right? So what we're going to do here is I'm going to change this to second, show results. Then I'm going to do location, Singapore. So how many do we think in Singapore? 500,000 worldwide that are second connections. How many? Show the results. What do you think?
1 million.
1 million, right? Let's have a look. 27,000. But that's too many, right? You can only send 50. So let's filter that a little bit. Which industry do you think you should focus on? You can see over here, where's it gone? Let me find industry. Find industry here. Current company. Where's industry gone? Last company, school. Industry here, right? So which industry do you think is the best industry for you? Which industry do you do a lot of business with? Joseph?
E-commerce or trading.
E-commerce, trading. Let's do trading. Yeah, good idea. Let's see what. international trade development. We'll just pop that in anyway, yeah. And then add an industry, e-commerce. No, that's not there. So you can get better search. So can we choose some of these here? Just of these 6?
Yep.
Which one? Here.
I will probably pick the management consulting.
Yeah, perfect, right? So let's just use that, right? So this drills down 1,000.
Okay, much lesser target.
Now you can now just go through this. Yep. Connect, press connect. Connect, press connect. I'm going to connect with 10, okay? Right. How long did that take me to do that? How long do you think? 10 seconds, less than a minute, right? So usually about 40% connect with you, 30%, 50 if you're lucky, right? So every week you get 20 to 30 new connections, 40 new connections if you connect with 100, okay? And you build your database up over a period of a year, and you've now got a database that you can use. It's targeted around founders, it's targeted around management consulting. So let me just change this here to partner, okay? So I can sit here, I can go second, Singapore, management consulting, 1,500 partners. I can connect, press send, right? I can connect. I do a lot of work with partners and professional services firms, yeah? You can see I'm pending some there, yeah? Make sense? It takes 5 minutes of your week. You need to pencil it in your diary. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go into breakout rooms now, and you are each going to do that search, and you're going to send 50 connection requests. Everybody's going to do it, right? And sometimes I get people go, well, I'll do it after my profile's done, or I don't really want to do it just now, or yeah, I'll send 5, or I'll send 20. I don't want you to do that. I want you to send 50, okay? No one come back to you and says, why are you connecting with me, yeah? Okay?
Great.
So I want you to send 50 and tick that box, okay? It's really important. If you've got a challenge with that, though, number one, you can raise it now, or you can raise it in the group when we go into the breakout rooms again, yeah? But I don't want you to overthink it. It's a really critical exercise. There's 2 parts that people, well, there's 3 parts actually. Number 1, connecting. Number 2, sending the right message. Number 3, posting. Everybody overthinks it, okay? So we're going to solve these problems for you today. So anybody got any questions? Ray's a master connector, by the way. Yeah, he's really good at this, right?
Hi, Fraser. Can I ask, this is James. There are some profile that put follow. So what does that mean? That means that.
So when it's follow, that means that they don't want to connect with you, right? They want you to follow them, yeah, right? You know, they've put that as a setting. Yeah. So I think I had one earlier, yeah, right? So. Yeah.
So what's maybe can you like explain to me why people do that?
I just think people have some funny ways of doing things, yeah, right? And feel that that's a better way of doing it. You see here, so the way to get around that is I would go like this, okay? And then I would press connect that way, yeah?
Oh.
Right, send.
Is it not that you can connect with the people, but you can follow companies? So if somebody record himself as a company, you can only follow.
You can follow a company or a person. You can do both. Yeah?
Okay.
There's actually the option to connect with them. If you go to their actual page, it'll have follow there, but there's a triple dot or more. When you click on that, connect will still be there. It'll just be buried.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
And sometimes you have to have the person's email address to send a connection request. You can't send a connection to them without that. So people set it up like that as well, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's fine. You just move on.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
So when you are searching for the people to connect, some of the people in the list, they don't have a profile picture. Do you skip those people?
Yeah, usually I would, right? I wouldn't connect with people that have very low connections or very or the profile picture's not there, because usually that means they're not interacting with LinkedIn. Yeah, it's a really good point. Yeah, nice one. Yeah.
Do you think, Fraser? Do you think it is advisable to like connect with people who that put the follow thing, because since they already don't want to be connected, then do we still want to make an effort to connect with them?
I don't connect with them, right? So yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's go in the breakout rooms. We've got about 5 minutes, 10 minutes to do this. And then
something interesting happen on our end, Fraser. So wants to know you're unmuted, so we'll just let you know that. So Yen, when she went into, so Yen only created her profile 2 days ago. So when we went through the process, she was able to do it. And then she brought up the list of potential connections, but the connect button wasn't there. It wasn't even grayed out or anything. There just was none. Is that possibly like a verification step that LinkedIn needs to do, or some kind of, because the account's so young? Or
I would imagine it is. Yeah, right. There does seem to be a sticky thing. Yeah, right. When people start and get going with this. Yeah. So they've got a couple of little quirks there. There's a lot of people creating fake profiles and stuff like that. So I'm pretty certain they'll be assessing it, making sure it's authentic. And then they'll activate it. And even once it activates, because you don't have any connections or have very low connections, you're going to find that it takes a while before you can actually even get to 100 cent. Yeah. So
okay, all right. So what I should do is to beef up the profile, nice background photo, good about, all of that, and just keep at it until they believe that I am not fake. Is that it?
I would go and take a little look in your email as well, see if they've sent you anything where they've asked you to verify your email or do something along those lines. They will have probably added a security step. As Fraser said, it's to stop spammy fake bot accounts, which they are really hot on doing.
I'll do that. I'll do that. Thank you.
Thanks, Yen.
Okay, so did everybody do it? I don't want to make anybody walk the walk of shame, yeah?
Yes, I got this message. You send more invitation than most.
Pardon, say that?
You have sent more invitation than most. Then there are something like on LinkedIn, it's best to only connect with people you know.
Yeah, you see, LinkedIn wants you to think, it wants you to pay to join, right? Which I think is a good thing, but not now. But the second thing is they don't want people sending more than 100 connection requests a week. So they'll give you a heads up that you're doing that. Andrea got to the point where she sent 100, which is brilliant, right? But now it stops her sending any more, yeah? So personally,
I have actually sent 100, right? Is it?
Yeah, so it stops you. So it only resets itself on Monday.
Oh.
And it's not cumulative, and it doesn't roll forwards with something added to the group. So if you don't send your 100 this week, you're not going to get 200 next week.
No.
So you might as well send it today. Oh, sorry. I was saying you might as well just max it out today because it resets on Monday anyway.
Good. Yep, absolutely.
Do it. Totally.
So yeah, but in a normal week, if you send 20 a day, then it's easier to handle the responses as they come back. So 50 is not normal. So because when responses come back, you need time to assess that we'll go into.
Yeah. Okay, does anybody need a 5-minute toilet break? Yeah? We were all so engrossed. I'm like, I didn't realize the time had gone. So let's take 5 minutes till 6 minutes past 5, yeah, right? And then we'll all come back in, yeah, right? And then carry on, yeah? And all of these things are critical. LinkedIn, whenever you meet anyone, you should connect with them on LinkedIn. So that's your start point of prospecting on LinkedIn. If you've met someone and you connect with them, you deepen the relationship. But if you want to reach out to someone, you have to have a very good reason. And I'm going to go to messaging now. Yeah. So, right. So anybody got any? I'll come back to that. Lynn, yeah. Okay. Everybody back?
Yes.
Yes.
So we've all sent our connection requests. Good job, eh? Happy? I'm really happy because you've all done it, right? So that's fantastic. Does anybody want to say they didn't do it? I don't mind, right? If you didn't do it, and I'd love to know the reason why, and I won't pick on you, but I'll try and counter it, give you my opinion, yeah?
Yeah, one quick question. So some of them have already accepted the connection. So what do we do next?
Just wait. I'm going to go to that now, yeah?
All right.
But here's the lovely thing. You don't have to do anything, okay? Right? You don't have to do anything. You've just built up your connections, as Graham said, yeah? So you've now got extra connections in your book that you never had before. Now, if you want to make them into a contact, that's a different thing. Okay, anybody got anything to add to the connecting? Well done. I'm just conscious of time. So, okay, so messaging. What do we do with our connections? Our connections, yeah. How do we communicate with people in a human fashion? So let's have a look. Who's had conversations? So we've definitely had some people having conversations in the last 4 weeks, which is great, yeah? And we're even getting some people getting appointments, yeah? Can you put your hand up? Who's getting appointments on LinkedIn at the moment, yeah? You can always put your hand up, yeah? Flash your hand. Because someone definitely was getting a lot of appointments, yeah? So 10 appointments. So but LinkedIn works, right? And I think there's two contexts here. One is short-term, okay? And one is long-term, right? You know, is I want to build up my connections and cultivate those relationships and convert them into first meetings. Remember, what we're really interested in is how many first meetings are we getting on a weekly basis as businesses here, right? No first meetings, no business. First meetings, you get business, okay? So what's wrong with this message? What's wrong with the message?
Selling. It's
selling, yeah.
There's no trust. There's no trust. There's no understanding of Fraser, the client. It's just I am doing product A.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
It's all about me, right?
It's too cold.
It's really cold, right?
Just to ask, how do you know it's cold? So what about it's cold?
I think she's very task-oriented. She just wants to get down to business.
Yeah.
How do you know that? What specific parts in the message tell you that?
It says that, are you looking to take your business to new levels?
Okay.
Yeah, I think that from the message you can tell that she didn't even research what you are doing or try to add value to whatever you are doing. It's just a very generic message about what she does, not what she can do for you.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. Okay. So first of all, right, let's just break it down. Hello, Fraser. Does anybody send hello, Fraser in a WhatsApp message? Do you send it on an Instagram message? Do you go, hello, Bob, kind regards, Hatta? We don't do that, right? This is not how you communicate in social media. This is a messaging platform. When someone sends, hello, Fraser, kind regards, Angie, what does that tell you?
Is probably templated.
It's templated, yeah, it's good. Yeah, absolutely. What else could it tell you?
Not personal, it's like an email, right? It's written like an email. So it's not as if you're texting someone. It's not natural in that moment. Yeah.
Informal, I should say.
Pardon?
Informal.
It's informal. So it should be informal, right? But it says it's formal. So when someone sends you a formal message, what are they doing? Yeah.
Someone sends you a formal message, you get a smell that it is a soliciting message.
Soliciting for business, right? That's what it is. Yeah? Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So we don't send that. That's not how you send messages, okay? So don't do it. You don't need to do it. I know you like to do it. We all like to do it, but that's not how it works. The less formal, the better, okay?
Can we just say hi? Is that all?
You can say hi. It's good, right? You know, that's nice, yeah? Perfect. Okay, it's perfect, right? Just say hi. I'll show you. I'll give an example. So something personal about them. Before you start, I want you to read the profile, yeah? If you like a profile and you want to interact with someone, you've got to find something about them to build a relationship with, yeah? Now, there are people who are very, very good at this. And there are people who are average, and there are people who don't even take the time and they're not very good at it. Ray is particularly good at this, right? Okay, and the reason they're good is because they take the time to look for a connection within the profile. So they look for a thing that allows them to interact, yeah? So, you know, if you meet someone in the elevator and you want to talk to them, you look at them, you see them, you know where they've come from, you know which floor they've come from, you start the conversation based around that, right? Or you say, how's your day been? Or, you know, but you'd say, you know, that's a funky pair of shoes. Yeah, right. Boom, you step into a conversation, right? You can tell I'm like a weirdo. I talk to people in elevators, right? So I knew you were thinking that, Graham. So,
I do that.
Yeah, I know that, right? You know, so but I've had this thing about this elevator speech thing, which is all nonsense, right? But how do you get someone's business card before the elevator gets to the bottom? Huh? And I used to practice that, right, just for fun. And the way you do it is to start a real conversation with them, yeah? Okay. Now, LinkedIn gives you the advantage, right? I can see their industry, right? I can see a post of articles they've written. I can see, I can really dig into them, yeah? I can see what floats their boat if I take the time. So 11,500 connections. How many personalized messages have I received from people that have read my profile? 10 years. How
Less
many?
than 1,000.
I've had 11,500 connections. Okay. How many people have personally sent me a message when they first met me and reached out? Yeah.
So Hatter's guess is less than 1,000.
Yeah. One.
0.
1.
Joven is closer. Joven, that was very close.
Right? 1. Okay. That's mind blowing, right? So people are lazy and transactional. They just want to get an appointment. They want, how do I get business? How do I get a sale? How do I get a lead? I had one girl, really lovely, right? It was very candid, and it's great that she shared this, right? But she said, what I do is, when I send a message to them, I tell them that I'm not going to sell them my product here, right? You know, and I just say, look, I don't want to sell you anything. I just want to get to know you better, right? She said, I don't understand why it's not working. I'm being really upfront with them, yeah? Okay, it's transactional. Actually, it's transactional, yeah? Okay, so what do we do? Thanks for connecting, something about them, ask a question, keep it simple. And this is an example, okay, of a message. Love the product, Ross, really cool. It's a massive issue solving. Do you work with the sales side of the business as well? So it's very short, very personal. Only he would know what this meant. It's a piece of software, yeah? And I had a lovely conversation with him. He came back, we talked, and I had a meeting with him, yeah? But that was the first message. So what do you take from that?
You know, Fraser, I think at the end of it, right, it's just basic human connection, right? I mean, this is the same rules apply to dating and to anything else. I mean, if you think about it, in principle, it's just about human beings connecting with one another. And that's why BNI works, because it's not a sales organization. It's a connection organization, for lack of a better word. So everything that you talked about here, it's just about human decency and human connection, right? And sometimes people forget that, right? I mean, to put it simply, that's what happens. And strangely, I wanted to be a dating coach, if not marketing consultant. But same principles apply. It's about connecting with the person on the other side, and instead of saying, "Do you meet tonight?" You just talk about something you saw on your profile. It's the same thing. Yep. Yeah, it's all about connecting with a human being and don't rush into something. It's just
And the don't rush bit that you're saying there is the correct bit, right? It's all correct, but the don't rush is really critical. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really important to understand that point. You see, we all want to sell and get a first meeting, but actually you need to switch that off. You have to switch it off. And you can't say, I'm switching it off. You actually have to switch it off, right? And we all have, I have it, right? So we all have this thing that makes us transactional, okay? It doesn't go away, even for me, and I live it, right, and breathe it. You have to be conscious of it and switch it off. And when it comes back and bites you, you have to go, oh crap, I did it again, yeah? Okay, it's human, like you said, Hatta, decency, okay? Just build a relationship and see what happens, okay? So let's look at it. Keep it personal, humanize it, read the profile authentically, look for commonality, don't go long, start a conversation. So, okay, I'm gonna, don't pitch and ask a question, right? So I'm gonna counter myself here, okay, with how, in the short term, how do you get appointments if you want to get them? Now, personally, I don't do this unless I have a specific reason for doing it, okay? So I'm very authentic when I do this, okay? But it is a methodology of getting appointments. It's extremely effective. But if you do it the wrong way, people can see through it by miles here, right? Okay. So we use a phrase, the reason that I reached out is. So I can say the reason that I reached out is I'm going to be in Edinburgh for 6 weeks. I saw that you're a founder of a business. I'm based in Singapore, but I do a lot of work in Scotland, and I thought it would be great to catch up, yeah? Does that make sense? That works, okay? But it needs to be authentic, okay? Or we did some work with so-and-so, the outcomes were fascinating. I thought it'd be great to grab a Zoom and share what we ran through, yeah? Okay? So it's a bit more generic here, okay? Now, I personally don't do this, yeah? Well, I will, when I go to Scotland, if I want meetings in certain cities, I will do that, just to start to do first meetings when I'm there. And that's the main time I use it. Or if I've got something very specific I want to discuss with someone, I'll do that, yeah? But it's very, very effective. Today, though, I'll just actually show you this very quickly. Can you see this in the right here? The reason I reached out is I'm coming to Edinburgh for a 2-month window. My daughter's studying there. We'll be there to help her through exams. Done a fair bit of work co-working. So, yeah, and they're happy to have a chat. When are you over, right? Make sense? But you can see there was a deep conversation happened before that, yeah? Cool. Okay, so let's go back to this. I want you all to go in now and read my profile. You've got a few minutes. I want you to read my profile, okay? And send me a message based on this as though you never met me before.
Where would you like them to send you that message, Fraser?
In LinkedIn, in the message, yeah?
Sure.
I want to receive 30 messages, yeah?
So don't put it in the chat, put it on the Zoom, put it in on LinkedIn.
Yeah. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my profile now. And we're going to have a look at some of these messages as they come in. Yeah? Let's see who comes up first. And if you haven't connected with me, I will go to connections and connect with you. You can connect with me now, yeah? Actually, it's here in my network, sorry. There we go. So Fraser Morrison, Singapore. Let's see. So it's nice, right? What could you do to improve this, though? I like the fact you do lowercase as well. Keep it small characters. I like that, right? I think that's actually good, right? So no capital letters, like you're sending a message. So based on what I went through with you, what's missing, yeah? Shirley?
Yes, I'm here with you.
Pardon?
Yes, I'm here.
So what's missing? What's missing based on what I showed you that needs to be in the message? There's one bit missing at the end, yeah?
Maybe I can ask you why you say so.
Yeah, you can ask me a question, yeah? So I love selling successfully is tough. It simply pierced my heart. What do you think the causes of selling being tough are, yeah? Because what you're doing really is being curious about the person, yeah? But it's nice, right? I like it. I like the layout of that. Just the last bit you need to tweak, yeah? And you don't have to try and get an appointment. Don't think, can I get an appointment for this, yeah? That's not what we're talking about here. Just start a relationship, as Hatta said there, yeah? Okay, come on. Where's the rest of them? Yay, excellent. Oh, Angie did an in-mill, excellent, yeah? Yeah, so it's good, right? But what you're doing is referring to what's happening now. I want you to pretend you don't know me, yeah? But what's really good, right? If she wanted to build a relationship with me, one of the great ways of doing it is when you go to a networking event, connect with the presenter, right? And then ask them a question. I loved what you did. It's perfect the way you did it, right? It's really useful in building my network. What advice would you give me, all right, you know, to go to the next level with LinkedIn, right?
You mean asking the questions, right?
Yeah, you want to create interaction. It's not enough to flatter me, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So let's have a look at, I love your blog about Scottish companies. I work quite a lot with Scottish companies, guys. I agree with you that they make great products, great people. Excited to hear you have created your new program. Love to hear more one day. Yeah. So it's nice, but it doesn't lead anywhere, right? So it's got, yeah, I would take the last sentence away from excited, okay? I agree with you that make great products, have great people, yeah, right? How are you helping Scottish companies at the moment? Or can we help Singapore companies do the same thing, yeah? Graham, go on.
Excellent thing that that you did, though, with going and looking at your profile.
It's fantastic, right? Yeah, it's great. And it's a really good point you're raising, Graham, because what does it make me feel when she does that, yeah? Anybody? You feel good, yeah? There you go, perfect. That's good, it's nice, right? Okay, let's have a look. I'll do a couple more. I'm not going to be able to do them all, right? So, Satya, digital coach that youth, I focus on Instagram. I'm just curious, what platforms do you coach on, yeah? Yeah, it's good, right? It's actually, that's a good question, right? The second one, right, is really personal, yeah? So you can almost say something like, you know, I'm a digital coach, like that I focus mostly on. Just curious what platforms you could. I mean, that's perfect, right? It's okay. I sort of like that, right? It's different, but it's good, yeah.
Yeah, it's just about, you know, bridging the commonality.
Nice,
so I'm trying to say that you and I are quite the same. So I'm not imposing. I'm not, you know, it's we're friends rather than I'm here to help you. Yeah.
And I think there's a power in separating it into 2 paragraphs or 2 sections, 2 messages, because it allows me to engage with each message differently.
Yeah, and because I think a lot of people use LinkedIn on mobile as well, and it really starts filling up the screen.
Yeah. So be specific about the thing that you're talking about. So, it must be rough to go through that period of your life that you referred to in the blog, right? In your LinkedIn blog. I really enjoyed it. What endurance sport do you find helped you most? Yeah. So it's really good, right? I like it. Really, it's really lovely. Yeah? It's a good message. Yeah? So what's Mohammed done wrong here? He's done a hi Fraser, cheers at the end, right? See, we instinctively get drawn into that, yeah? But you wouldn't do that on messaging on Instagram or WhatsApp, right?
Because I do that most often.
Do you? But I would say you do endurance sports. May I know which sports? I would talk about, I saw in your profile that you do endurance sports, yeah, right? And that you do this. Are you still doing the sports? Yeah, or what sports are you doing now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Scotland's a great place to do endurance sports. You must miss it, yeah, right? In Singapore, because it's not got the, how do you cope with that in Singapore compared to Scotland? Yeah. Because the correlation of those 2 things actually are close to me. Yeah, right? I'd have a conversation with you about that. Yeah. So the things you picked out are really good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You see, it's nice, right? Hi Fraser, I like it. Browse your profile, and your section really connects with me on what we are experiencing. So it's nice, right? We experienced pandemic together. I was wondering what would be good. So I wouldn't ask to connect. I wouldn't ask to do anything here. Right? I'd ask a question. I don't want. When people ask me straight away to do something, it pushes you back, right? Okay, last one. Yeah.
I'll just add on to that.
Go on, Graham.
It would be better to kind of have a post based off of what you saw in the profile rather than necessarily needing to tell them that you've gone through their stuff. People do get a bit squeamish, even though we all share stuff. When you reflect that to somebody, they can pull away from you. So share what you thought about the things you found rather than the fact that you did it.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. So last one, we'll do it, Eugene. Again, I like it, right? I wouldn't put the paragraph like that, Eugene. Yeah. So it's okay to put it there, right, at the beginning. Okay. I could feel with you that sales is not really the easiest thing with, I read your blog about this, and this, and what you were saying there made a lot of sense, yeah, right? And I like this sharing here. Actually, I think that's good, right? No, I don't do that so much, but I think that's very nice, yeah. I wouldn't say I love your profile and the work you do because you've already talked to me. I'd be asking a question at this point, yeah. It's just a little much, 2 paragraphs, yeah. 1 paragraph only. I would be thinking in terms of 4 lines or 3 lines max, yeah. Okay. Any questions? We've got 1 more section to go through, yeah. Is that helpful from a messaging point of view? So you've all sent a message. Keep sending. Make sure you all send to me. That's great, yeah. And then reflect back on the message. The feedback and seeing what other people's doing is really useful. Graham, have you got anything to add to that?
Just curious, has anybody never, I mean, okay, I understand those, Yen, you've just signed up, so it's a different case, but anybody who has had their profile for a while, has anybody never sent a message to somebody?
Put your hand up.
And I sent.
Okay. So Shirley, you put your hand up. Esther's put her hand up. Okay.
Good.
All right. So you've just been introduced to something that will give you a solid foundation in how to do that. And you will save a giant bundle of time and not build the habit of trying to get something out of that relationship immediately. Yes, as you've seen, it's about building that connection over common ground.
Yeah.
That was my only question.
Cool.
So
Jonathan, you had your hand up, yeah?
Yeah. So maybe I would just add a bit, right? So it is about this, right? Maybe Ken can type in for me. It's about being interested in the person. Mm-hmm. It's not, you're here to build relationship. Your intention is to get that relationship going and not sell on the spot, right? And say, hey, because I love you, because I want to connect with you. No, it's not that, right? I mean, it's like, how many of you have been on a date before, right? Please put out a hand, right? You don't say, hey, right, I'm interested in you and, let's have dinner. No, right? You want to check it out. So it's the same with LinkedIn, I would say, right? Is that let's have a normal conversation. You read and then say, hey, probably I can invite him or her to the chapter. But first, let's really find out what are the common friends we have. I can say, hey, Fraser, I realized that you are a common friend with Graham, which is also one of my close friends, and also Kent. And I really love what you shared about Scotland. And I've been there. I've never been there, but love to visit someday. Having said that, I'd like to find out a bit more on what you do for your sales training. That's it, right? So it's about getting interested in that person and not typing a message for the sake of typing a message to reach out to the person.
Absolutely.
I just have a conversation. That's probably I would add. Thanks.
And it's really important that you do that, and it's critical. So that's with new people. When someone comes to your chapter as a guest, you need to connect with them. Start a conversation like this. Okay. When you meet someone at a networking event, you all meet each other. Yeah. We all cross chapters should be working together here, right? I mean, obviously you deal with people in your own chapter that do the particular things, but there's other chapters. When you meet someone, connect with them, have a conversation. So to me, you get referrals. I connect with them on LinkedIn. I have a conversation. I network. I get connections. I connect with them on LinkedIn, have a conversation. When you're BNI, the first thing I do when they come in is connect with them and have a conversation. Yeah. Then on top of that, the bonus is the messaging. So even if you don't do the messaging piece with new people, okay, I'm okay with that, right? That's fine. Don't, yeah. Okay, you don't need to, but you can say hi, really like your profile, ask a question, but do it because you're not trying to have a meeting or anything with them, yeah? And just see what happens. You'll be surprised, yeah? You'll end up with a problem going, oh, they want to have coffee, yeah? Right? Okay, I'm conscious of time. We've got 20 minutes and we've got a really hard bit ahead of us, okay? So, okay, that was really good. I think we're making progress now. Now let's talk about publishing, okay? So, and again, this is linked into the next level. I'm going to push outside your box just now really, really hard. We're going to be really tight on time. If you can all manage an extra 5 minutes, that would be really cool, yeah, right? I'm sorry, right? But with an extra 5 minutes will let me sort of just wrap up at the end, and then I'm not rushing this next bit. A lot of people struggle with posting. They struggle with the confidence of posting. They struggle what the rationale is. Today, I'm just going to touch on it and show you how to post, and then you're all going to do a post, yeah? So, but I'm going to be really quick here, rattle through this, and then you're going to go into breakout rooms, and we're going to get you to post. And we'll go from there, yeah? So always think in terms, who am I talking to, okay? Once you're connected with people, if you're posting, some of those people are going to see your messages, yeah? Okay? So the benefits of building your brand, thought leadership, LinkedIn builds out your community, people follow you, the audience, really good quality, your content defines you, LinkedIn's becoming important to companies, so they're aware of it. share your subject matter expertise, develops your career. Okay, so LinkedIn does all of these things. Yeah, to take it to that next level, you need to post regularly. Okay, so most of you are not posting, but some of you are, which is fantastic. Okay, so what we've got, I think you should be doing a minimum of 1 post a week. So we've got someone here doing that, but some of you are actually doing it, which is great. So 2 of you or 3 of you are doing that. Yeah. So okay. So content is king. You need to publish. We've all got knowledge and things that we can share. Okay. So let's go through the process of posting. When you create a post, you've got to write the correct way. Okay. Okay. To optimize the engagement with your audience. It is important. It is a piece of publication that comes from you. You can use images. I use images from Unsplash. They're really good. If I want to put a message across, Keyman Insurance, without Keyman Insurance, you're exposed to huge risk. And then I would put a little bit of content below it, and then I would have a picture of a key, right, that I'd searched for, yeah? Okay? There's a post. That's your brand going out there. People see that. You could put 6 key things for Keyman Insurance. Content that you found. So another way of sharing, if you don't want to do images, is to pull an article that's about your topic and then do a post around that. So, have you thought about the implications of death of the CEO? And then you go, this article talks about Keyman Insurance for CEOs. It walks through the process. These are the 4 points within it. Take the time to read this, yeah? Sharing subject matter expertise, yeah? You're showing you know what you're talking about, and you're researching and sharing knowledge with other people. Make sure the source where it comes from is authentic. A lot of people post some stuff and it's a bit dodgy. Don't do that. So process, we're all journalists. We've all got responsibility now. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're a financial advisor and you're not posting every week, you're wrong. Okay? You need to post because you need to let people know what's happening in the marketplaces. Okay? Every week, 1 post, Keyman, insurance, critical illness. I'm sorry, I'm picking on that, Winston, for you, right? So it's a bonus for you, right? So, but it's the same whether you're a florist, right? It's the same, with a florist, right? You would think, what can I post flowers? What's my environment look like? Right? What's the smell? Right? What's the benefits of flowers? Right? There's loads of content out there that talks about these things. Every week, share a post. Work from home. You need flowers in your house, yeah? So financial service, flowers, completely different extremes. But they all have contents. Property, you're a joiner, you're a, whatever your role is, right? It doesn't matter, right? You've got the content that you can share. So select an article, put a headline nice and punchy. We talked about that earlier, okay? How often should you post? Once a week, ideally twice a week. Tag people. So that means the same as Facebook. Everyone knows how to do that. At Jonathan, at Fraser, at Ray. We're in your post if you do that. So don't everyone tag Jonathan or you're driving bonkers, his feed will be full, right? But you can tag me, that's fine, right? So, or Graham or Ray, we're really happy with that, yeah? So when you post, tag us, share it, you know how to do that. Everyone knows how to do that. It's the same as Facebook. And then hashtags, same as Facebook, okay? Select your image if you're going to use an image, not an article. And when people talk to you, interact with the comments. So here's that, helping you see the world anew. Nice title. Little bit of content. You can see here hashtags. Off she goes, yeah? Super article, okay? Then you got something about Scotland, right? This is a Scottish, they have a Scottish networking group, right? So that's relevant to them. BBC News, got a huge amount of people looking at it, yeah? Nice punchy headline, draws you in, yeah? Okay, this is Raki, she's in Singapore. Want to know how to be a top performer at work. Nice and punchy. She uses emojis because she's talking to millennials. That's her marketplace. Angela, should I be concerned I don't follow the same career path? You see, so she's got some key points there. So you've got, this is a post for the picture, okay? And then you've got, this is me, 6 points, how do you use LinkedIn groups, tagged it, and then I've done a little video that goes with it, you know? So what I want you to do now is I want you to go into the groups again. I want you to search for an article. I then want you to press on your LinkedIn. I want you to go to posts, and I want you to create a post, paste the article in there. Okay. I want you to write a punchy heading, 1 paragraph, tag me, Graham, tag Jonathan. I'm sure he doesn't mind you do it in one of them, right? You know, tag Jonathan, right? Ray, Graham, and anybody else in here. Put a little hashtag and press send. We all good with that? Right, Graham? We can sort out all the problems in the breakout rooms. Yeah.
How long do we want the room for?
We've got 10 minutes to write the post. Okay.
Okay.
So how does everybody feel now you've posted? Some of you never posted before, yeah? What's everyone's thoughts? Give me some feedback on...
Come on, type on the chat, right? Your first post, your virgin post. Who posts the virgin? Put a V on the chat. V, virgin, right? Virgin post. I know Aini did it. Andrea also did it, right? Yeah, see? All the virgin posts is out there. Wei Jie also virgin. Okay, good.
It's funny, yeah. So, what's everyone's thoughts on posting, yeah? Any thoughts? Winston, are you going to start posting more? You're muted.
Yes, I will. It's actually it resembles a lot like Facebook.
Excellent, right? Fantastic.
Yeah.
Anne, how do you find it?
How do I find it?
Anne Faye.
I'm still posting, but because I wanted to make like a really good points rather than just forwarding an article. But I found it was really good, the tips that you gave. So I'm really kind of like fine tuning my posts.
Perfect. Do that and take your time. You all know you can go back and edit and fine tune it. Yeah. Okay. Because I was rushing. Yeah?
So we are saying in the other breakout room, those who never post by tonight, stay back until next weekend. Retention class.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I never knew what topics I could post as a virtual assistant, but through this, you gave me some inspiration, and I managed to find some articles that could potentially link back to what I do. So thank you. That's
all right.
Awesome.
Let's give Andrea a big clap, like 888, right? Type 888 for her, right? Yay!
And then
virgin, right?
Yeah. Another question there, yeah.
I just want to share something to Andrea, right? You don't know what to post, right? Because you have not asked people like digital marketers, video marketers, like myself, right? If we have that conversation, then you know what our pain points of generating content and stuff like that. So you can post content around that area.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Just want to share a quick tip.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I work with my clients on this, because I consult them every week on what to post. You can actually in advance create like content pillars. So what are these things that are associated with you? But every time you post, go look at those pillars and say you must at least feel one of those pillars. Yeah.
I did try to start on that, but then I got lost into what I could. But then I think from this session it was quite inspirational. So yeah. I will look at the content pillars again.
It's a great idea.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yen has her hand up. Just want to check.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yen.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that it's a really eye-opening session today for me in terms of what to post, just like what Andrea said, because before this, I was just on Facebook and I was on Instagram to promote what I'm doing as a home baker and my products. So I asked Graham if the posts are related to representing our products. And he said, no, it's actually to demonstrate our expertise and competency in the area that we are in. So that has opened my mind to, not just being promotional about what cakes I sell, but, create content that educate the community that I am connected to in Lincoln and be able to give them value. So that is a very valuable take home for me. It has changed my thought process in that sense. Yeah.
Fantastic.
LinkedIn Bake Off, Chin. Do a LinkedIn Bake Off. Challenge them with a recipe.
Oh yeah, like what makes a cake sink?
Yeah, but what a really good idea, right? So my friend did this lasagna bake-off, right? and he gave everybody the recipe, and then we all had to take pictures, and then we had a taste test to see who made the best lasagna. So you could do that, right? You could say, right, we're going to have a competition here. Here's the post. Here's the recipe. See who can get as close to this as possible, right? You know, it's really a great idea. Yeah, right? I like
and
it.
it's a great way to also show. It's a great way to show how tough it is to actually bake and
exactly.
Once you get your hands dirty, I think same thing in social media. A lot of people say, yeah, it's easy. Then once they get started doing it, it's a lot tougher than this. So I think that there's value to that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really interesting. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Actually, and another way is that because when you do the bake off and all that, people are actually building your hashtag.
Yeah, exactly. Right? They're all commenting, and you get a bit of energy around it. Yeah. So you share pictures, and see, and that's business, right? You can have a bit of fun with it. You're right. That's your business. Yeah, right. So don't forget that. So Ray, what were you going to say?
Yeah, one thing, when you tag people, everybody knows you go at. It's a good idea. Fraser caught me on this once. You can actually take out their second name and tag them in the conversation to keep your post clean. But you can tag Fraser Morrison, and just take out the Morrison. So it's more personal when you tag the first name.
Yeah. It
doesn't sound like they're in trouble and your mother, and you're going to scold them.
So Graham, thoughts?
My thoughts are, where are the other posts that I'm tagged in?
Yeah, good point. You need to tag Graham, Ray, and me, by the way, right? And go back and re-tag them if you haven't done that. You can do that, by the way. Yeah?
So I'm looking forward to seeing all the rest. I've seen some. It's really good. Really happy to see that. Some really good questions in my group, and they were asking about various posts and how to go and create them. So all I would say is, so with the Bake Off as a reference, LinkedIn has a bunch of other functions and options that you can use. We don't cover it here, but these are other things that we do talk about in our other sort of expanded trainings. LinkedIn has a lot of options.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So you've all got to post weekly, 50 to 70 connections sent a week. It doesn't take long to do that. We're talking about 25 minutes work. Okay. If you want to send someone some messages, that's great, but you don't need to. Every time you connect with someone, you meet someone networking event, if you meet them in a referral, if they come to your BNI chapter, you need to connect with them and have a personal conversation with them, definitely, okay? Right? So you've got the fundamentals now. Go away and let's do this for a week. We're back here again at 4 o'clock next Friday. We're going to create a group, okay, which is a group chat, like a WhatsApp chat in LinkedIn, and we're going to put you all in there, okay, together. And make sure you silence it, otherwise you'll get 5,000 messages, okay? You know to silence it, right? You just go in and you silence it. If anybody doesn't want to be in there, just come out. We'll create that on Monday. And then when you do an article, the 3 dots on the right, it allows you to copy and then paste it into the chat. And then everybody could see the articles that you're doing in the posts, okay? And then get your profile done properly, get a professional picture. Please take the time. The return on investment is staggering, right? And really, we as BNI, we've got no excuse. There's plenty of photographers around that are really good at this, yeah? Okay, so, right. Thank you very much. Have a lovely weekend. And Graham and Ray, thank you very much for helping out, yeah, right? Really much appreciated. And Jonathan, do you want to wrap up? You're muted.
Yeah, so how many of you learn a lot of things, right? Type in, right? What have you learned? At least one thing. Come on, type in one thing so that let's feedback for Graham, Fraser, and Ray, right? So one thing, what's that one thing, right? A lot of articles to post, fantastic. What else? How to post, what else? Come on, hey, let's flood and really give feedback for them. Humanize, fantastic, right? Yeah, start doing it now. Okay, one more thing nobody put. Action, right? Please take action and we'll hold you accountable, because accountability is everything. And look, whatever you have paid, whatever you have paid, right? Is definitely 10 times more than what you have paid. Agree. If you agree, put 10 times. If you don't agree, put 100 times. Okay? If you don't agree, put 100 times. But if you agree, put 10 times. Okay? Right. So what I'm saying is, hold yourself accountable. We're here. That's why Fraser is, so out of his kindness of his heart, right? He's holding us accountable for 1 week, right? But it takes a while to build habits. But the first step starts from now. So really like to thank Fraser, Graham, and Ray, definitely coaching us with their, what they are good at, what they're great at. So really, I think that's what I like to share. And please also do reach out to friends that, hey, say, hey, today this is what I learned, right? And share with your chapter members. And probably Fraser can do another one probably next month, okay? And let's help each other. At the same time, I think one of the things is that we get to know this group. At the same time, if you think it's a good article, let's also support them, right? Like Aini or Yen, right? So let's go in and support them, read the article, so that we can get all this thing going, because we need a group, and this is a supportive group outside of BNI itself, but definitely we're still in BNI. Okay, so with that, my appreciation to Graham, right? Rafe coming all the way from overseas, right? And Fraser, our master trainer for today. Back to you. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you very much. And so we see you all next Friday. Keep the messages going, yeah, right? Let's all talk to each other in the group. Let's try and nail next week, yeah, right? Once you've sent your 50 connection requests, let everybody know. Once you've done a post, share it. Once you've finished your profile, if you want anybody to look at it, share your link in your LinkedIn and say, what do you think of my profile now? I've done an edit. And then I'll see you Friday at 4 o'clock. Yeah, thank you. Have a
All right.
Take care. Okay.